He was made of stone. No weapon could hurt him. But one woman found the secret that brought him down by striking what no one could see, his shadow. In the lands surrounding Lake Victoria, where the waters kiss the edges of fertile plains, the Luo people speak the name Luanda Magere with a mix of awe and sorrow. He was no ordinary warrior. His very name, Luanda, meaning rock or stone, carried the weight of legend. His body was said to be made of stone, impervious to spears, arrows, or blades. On the battlefield, he moved like a storm, and when he struck, entire armies crumbled. The Nandi, long-standing rivals of the Luo, feared even the mention of his name. For Luanda Magere was not just a man, he was a force. But as with many great legends, it was not brute strength that shaped his story. It was a secret and a betrayal. Long before his fall, Luanda rose from humble beginnings. As a child, he was silent and watchful. Elders said he was touched by the spirits. He grew quickly, his frame tall and solid, his eyes deep and knowing. When he first took up a spear, it was as though he had wielded one in another life. The elders whispered that he had been chosen, that a warrior like him comes once in a generation. In his first battle against the Nandi, Luanda proved himself more than mortal. A spear meant for his heart shattered on impact. An arrow fired from close range bounced off his skin. His enemies fled in terror, whispering of a man made of stone. The elders of the Luo declared him their protector, a living shield. Mothers sang his name into lullabies. Warriors invoked him before battle. His fame spread beyond the Luo lands, carried on the wind. And so he became legend while still alive. Years passed, and Luanda's fame grew. His presence on the battlefield turned the tide of any war. Songs were sung in his honor. Children were named after him. But with every victory came greater curiosity. How could a man be invincible? Rumors began to swirl, that he was protected by the gods, that he had bathed in sacred rivers, that his heart had been replaced with a stone. The Nandi, humiliated and desperate, devised a plan. They would offer a girl, a beautiful young woman from one of their noble families, as a peace offering. Her name was Nandi Chebet. She was graceful, intelligent, and trained from birth for this mission. She was not a mere bride, she was a weapon. The Luo, surprised by the gesture, welcomed the peace, and Luanda, unaware of the trap, took Nandi Chebet as his wife. In the quiet moments of their marriage, away from war and ceremony, she studied him. She watched him bathe, dress, and sleep. She noted that when he cut himself accidentally, he did not bleed, that his skin was warm but unnaturally hard. And then, one day, she noticed something strange. When Luanda's shadow shifted, he winced. When he stumbled, it was not his body that hurt. It was the shadow that dragged. Patiently, carefully, she asked him one night, "My husband, what is the secret of your strength?" Luanda trusted her. His heart had never known betrayal. He looked into her eyes and said, "My body is stone, but my soul lives in my shadow. If anything harms my shadow, I will fall." The next day, Nandi Chebet left in the early hours. She returned to her people and told the Nandi elders everything. It wasn't long before the Nandi attacked again. This time, they did not aim for his chest or legs. As Luanda Magere rose to defend his people once more, a Nandi warrior crept behind him and drove a spear deep into the ground, directly into his shadow. Luanda gasped. For the first time, his knees buckled. He fell to the earth like a crumbling mountain. The people watched in horror. The invincible warrior, the stone-bodied hero, was dying. But before he breathed his last, Luanda Magere rose one final time. With his last breath, he staggered forward, found a rock, and turned to stone. His body became an unbreakable monument, standing tall even in death, a warning and a symbol. Today, they say the rock still stands, somewhere near the Nyanza plains. Elders bring children to see it and whisper, "Here lies Luanda Magere, the man whose strength was his shadow." His story endures not just because of his power, but because of the lessons it carries. That strength is not always in muscle, that even the mighty can fall to betrayal, and that sometimes love can be the most dangerous weapon of all. Luanda Magere's legacy lives on in song and ceremony. During Luo warrior rites, his name is invoked. Drums echo with his rhythm. His tale is told by firelight, not merely as entertainment, but as a reminder that power must be guarded, that trust must be earned, and that even legends can be broken. And in the twilight hours, when the sun stretches shadows long across the earth, some say you can still hear his voice in the wind, watching, waiting, enduring. Stories connect us to our past, shape our present, and guide our future. African Legends and Stories is more than just storytelling. It is a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, between tradition and modernity. Subscribe now and be part of this journey. Like, comment, and share to keep these legends alive. This is African Legends and Stories, where the past speaks and the future listens.